Okay, guys, we're going to go ahead and start today on our new lesson of the workbook of Lesson 4. Um, on Lesson 4, we went into the Hebrew nouns. We learned how to recognize feminine nouns with the comments hey ending. Um, Also, with the whenever you see a tav at the end, that's usually a good indicator that that is a feminine noun of the Segol tav, the Hirik Yod tav, the Shurik tav and the Patak tav are usually good indicators that that is a feminine noun. Also, so I hope that you went through and reviewed chapter 4 on Hebrew nouns. We did break it up into a two-part series, so we wanted you to be able to study the regular nouns and then go into the seglet nouns because you do have a lot of seglet nouns in here in the biblical Hebrew, and so we wanted to make sure you had a good grasp on that. So far up to the date, we have gotten into the consonants, the vowels, breaking up syllables, learning how to pronunciate the correct syllables and accent the correct syllables, as well as now we're into the Hebrew nouns. So let's go to the homework now. And here we want to go ahead and break this up. It's asking you basically to give the gender and the number of that noun, and we have devarim. Devarim, which is two syllables, consonant vowel, consonant vowel, consonant vowel, consonant. So we've got open, open, and closed syllables here. As we learn, the furthest away, this is the tonic syllable right here. So this is the pretonic and the propretonic syllable. So the furthest away syllable is going to be the reduced vowel of the Shabbat. Now, if you happen to have a guttural here under the first consonant letter, then that would be a hatef. We'd have a hatef patak or a hatef sagol or a hatef chametz, either one. So that's what it. So this is a masculine noun and it's plural in number. So what we're teaching you is to think with your mind what gender the noun is and what is the number. Is it singular or is it plural? And the Hirik Yod Mem Safit tells you that this is a masculine plural ending. The Hirik Yod Mem Safit or final Mem tells you that um, that is a masculine plural ending here. Okay, show fe team, show fe team. Here we have the dot over for the shin, and of course we learned that if you have another dot over here, that's usually showing you that that is a holum. That is an O sound. So it'd be show, and then a non-hard pay. This is a fe, fe. This is a vocal shavah because it is following a long vowel, an O, a holum, and then team, show fe team. And so this is a masculine plural ending, just like the one we have with devarim. That is masculine plural. The Hirik Yod Mem Safit tells you that this is masculine plural. Number 3, we have Shemaim. This is actually just two syllables, Shemaim. And this is a masculine dual noun. The Patak Yod Hirik in the Mem Safit or final Mem tells you that that is a dual noun. Yeled, we would say Yeled. The accent's on the first syllable here. You see these double seagulls. This is telling you this is a seglet noun. The accent's on the first, not on the second syllable, last syllable here. So this is a masculine singular seglet noun right here. Now we have Yal Da. Yal Da. This is the comments Hey is telling you here. This is a feminine singular noun. This is so this is the opposite of Yeled, which is masculine. Yalda is feminine, feminine singular. The comments say. Okay, and you have, whenever you change from a seglet to another, you put another ending on the end of here. you always have the patak under the first syllable, the non-vocal shava that's closing off that syllable because remember the shava is following a short vowel, so it's non-vocal. And then you start with the dalet, which then this is a hard dalet, not like a soft dalet on the yellow. This is a hard one with the gesh lane a comments, and a hey. And that's how the seglet nouns work. They work that way whenever they change from the yellow from their original lexical form. Whenever they become feminine, they have a comments hey, and then we'll get into when they're changed into plurals also. So we have yalda. This is feminine singular. Number 6, we have sus. This is masculine singular. This is what they call a monosyllable word, a one-syllable word here. And then if you want to make it a feminine, horse, you get susa. You add the comments hey on the end of it, and that makes it feminine, so it's a feminine singular. Okay, we have mishmeret here. This, again, we're looking at the Segol Tav here. The Segol Tav is basically telling us that this is a feminine singular noun. Okay, when we get to number 9 here, Mish Malroth. Mish Malroth. This is the whole Vav Tav here tells you this is a feminine plural noun. It's feminine plural, and we would pronunciate this as mish. This is one syllable breaks here. Ma, the mem in the comments starts another syllable, and roth. Mish ma roth. Number 10, we have melek. Again, we have another seglet noun here. This is masculine singular. And after the masculine singular, we have malka. And of course, melek means king. Then malka must mean queen. Again, the patak under the mem, the silent shava up on the lamed, and then the kaf with the comments hey. Again, you got the degalish lane a in that vocabulary of the kaf here. So this is feminine singular malka, a queen. Now, if we want to go to the plural of melek, then we would go to shava under the mem, comments under the lamed, or the second letter, and then hirik yod mem sufit up under the hirik under the kaf, which is this is the root here, mem lamed kaf. That's the root. The hirik yod mem sufit or final mem is the masculine plural ending, and the vowels that we would place, and this is always under all the vowel up under all seglet nouns, the shava up under the mem. If it's a guttural, it's a compound shava or hatefs, and then your comments under the lamed. So this is a masculine plural noun, seglet noun here. Melachim. Melachim. Okay, let's go to feminine now, plural. This is feminine plural here because we recognize the ot, the whole and vav tav here at the end. That is telling me that is feminine plural. The same thing we do with the feminine as we do with the masculine when they go from singular to plural. The shava under the mem, the comments under the lamed, and then the ot. Melachot. Melachot. Feminine plural. Okay, let's move up here. We got number 14. We have bat. This is a single syllable. This is more like a this is daughter, bat, and so this is feminine singular. You see the patak tav here. That tells you that that is a feminine gender and it's singular. Now we go to 15. That is banot. Now this is a radical. Remember we had those radical stem changes, and that's what it is. You still can recognize this as feminine plural because of the whole and vav and the tav. That tells you that it is plural, feminine plural. But you do have a little different change here. It goes bait, comments, noon. So this is banot. Banot. This is feminine. Main thing I want you to see is that the whole above tav always tells you it's feminine plural. Sha'ar. Sha'ar. Accents on the first syllable here. And you got your double patox here. And so that just tells you that segment nouns can have different vowels up under them. The more pure or the purest ones are the segols up under them, but they do come with patox, as we had mentioned before in previous lessons. This is a masculine singular. This is what they call an endingless noun right here. It has no ending. Most masculine nouns have no endings to tell you. You just have to memorize their gender here. Avadim, avadim. This we recognize the hierarch yod mem sufit, the final mem. So that's telling us that is masculine plural. Okay. You see how, as I told you, this is a seglet noun, or came from a seglet noun, evid. And you can see that this first guttural does not take a simple shava, it takes a compound shava, or what they call a hatif patak. And so you see a hatif patak up under it. Avadim. Number 18 is yom. It's masculine singular. Then when we go to the plural part of it, this whole and vav reduces down to a chametz. Chametz hatuf here. This is not a long A. This is actually a short O. And it's yamim. Masculine plural. Yamim. Okay. We have yomaim. Yomaim. That's masculine dual. 2 days. 2 days. Navi is masculine singular. It's an endingless noun, so it has no ending to tell you what the gender is. Number 22 is Torah. Torah. And you can see the comments hey ending here. It tells you that that is feminine and that it is singular. Whenever you see the comments hey at the end, that is telling you that it is feminine singular. Torot, here on number 23 is Torot. The ot is telling you that that is feminine and that it is plural. Ish. Ish is a man. It is masculine and it's singular. Anashim. Anashim is masculine and it's plural. The hierarch yod mem sufit will tell you that it's masculine plural. Even if you didn't know this root here, what it meant, you can know that at least that it's masculine plural. Alright, let's go to the next homework here. What we're going to do here is we're going to identify which of the following nouns are feminine. Now that list that was given, these are the nouns that are feminine. You got Isha, because you can see the comments hey is telling you that that is feminine. Nashim, women. Okay, now you'd have to know that Nashim, it does have a hierarch yod mem sufit. You remember those nouns, that some of those nouns do, there are some feminine plural nouns that take the hierarch yod mem sufit of the masculine. But they're far and few in between, but there are some, and this is one of them. And you just have to memorize this. This is feminine here. Kesset, for bow, you have the segol and the tav here, showing you that that is feminine. Da'at, da'at, the accent's on the first syllable, da'at. You can see that the patak tav is telling you that that is feminine for knowledge. Now we have eretz. You have eretz here. Now eretz is an endingless. It doesn't have any type of sign to tell you, so you just have to know that that is feminine. And usually things of the earth and stuff like that are feminine, just like Evan. Evan is a seglet noun, just like Eretz, and it is feminine also. Stone. It's an endless noun. All right, we go to number 7 here. We have Tif Eret. Tif Eret. That is telling us that is for glory. And you have the Segol Tav at the end telling you that that is feminine and that it's singular. Hakma, not Hokma, as you've heard it, but Hakma um, is a feminine noun. You got the comments hey ending here. Ear, number 9, is feminine, but it's an endless noun, so it's feminine. You just have to memorize that. And Irim is feminine, comes from ear. It's one of those um, radical stem changing nouns that change here. So, although it has a hierarchy, yod, mem, suffix, final mem, this is a feminine gender. And we have masculine nouns that take feminine plural endings too. They're few and far between, like avot, fathers, but there are some that do that. So you just have to learn those. All right, here's a look at the seglet nouns here. Okay, we have the seglet nouns here. Out of the list is number 1, Evan. We know that's stone. That's a seglet noun because the accent's on the first syllable. You got the double segols here. Remember, you don't have to have the segols to be a seglet noun, but a lot of times you do. It could be a patak patak, it could be a holum and a segol. I mean, just different ones, and you just kind of you'll see them. And in the text, you'll usually have a caret over the top of them, telling you that it is a seglet noun. We have safer. See, here's an example where it's not double segols. It's a sere segol, safer, book. The next one we have is zera, which is seed. You have a segol and then a patak. Na'ar, young man. Again, patak, patak. And then etzem, for bone. You have the accents on the first syllable. And so there are a lot of seglet nouns, and they have a lot of them have different vowels on them, but you'll just memorize those as you get to them and stuff as you go through. So anyhow, that's basically what we're looking at here. So let's just go ahead and what we'll do, go through here is go into the next section here on the Hebrew nouns here. What we want to do is pluralize each of the following nouns. Now we're going to take bor, which is a pit, and it's feminine, so we're going to add an ot to it to come up with borot. Now we take sus, which is normally masculine. Sus is a masculine, it's horse. We add a hierarch yod, mem suffix to it to come up with susim. We have chalom. Halom is feminine, and you add an ot to it to come up with chalomot. Chalomot for dreams. Rehov is street, is feminine. You add an ot to it, and it's rechavot. Rechavot. Gevul is boundary, and it's masculine. And you add the here yod mem suffix. Gevulim. Gevulim. Number 6 is Navi. It's masculine. You add a hierarch yod mem suffix, final mem, to have. Remember this Shiva, when you add another syllable in here, this Shiva, this comments is going to reduce to a Shiva. And so you're going to have, when you add the hierarch yod mem suffix to the end here, it creates another syllable. Instead of 2 syllables, it's going to be 3 syllables. The accent's on the final syllable. So this propatonic syllable here with the noon is going to go from a comments, reduce from a comments to a shava. So you have nevi'im, nevi'im, nevi'im for prophets. You have nahar. Nahar, you put the plural ending, it's feminine, you put ot on it. So neharot. Neharot. So you see again, the noon becomes that syllable. When you add ot to it, it changes it from a two syllable to a three syllable. So that comments is going under the noon is going to reduce to a shavah here. Necharot. Sabah, or actually Sava. Sava is an army. We know this by Adonai Sabaoth, and so you know that Sabaoth is the plural ending here. Savaoth. Again, the comments reduces to a shavah. When you put that ot on there, it creates another syllable and throws that sade further away from the accented syllable into what they call the propertonic syllable. Zakain, okay, Zakain. You add for old man, you add the hirik yod mem feet to it. It produces another syllable. This comments is going to reduce to a shavah. Zakanim, Zakanim. Levav for heart. It is feminine, so you make it plural. You put the ot on after the last bet, and you go le va vote, and the sere under the lamed reduces to a shavah just like the comments does when you add another syllable on here because it throws into a propertonic syllable. So it's further away from the accent syllable, thus it reduces the vowel, the vocalization on it. So number 11 here we have anan, and that is a masculine noun, and it is, you add im on it, here, yod, mem sufit, and it's ananim, ananim. And because this comments breaks down, but you have a first guttural, it has to take a compound shavah, or what we call the hatefs, a hatef patak. And ayins tend to take the hatef patak, as well as chets tend to take the hatef patak also. Okay, let's go up here to the anav, which is a grape. Anav, and we have here that is masculine, and we add the hirik yod mem sufit here. So this seri reduces down to a compound shavah, hatef patak, and we add the hirik yod mem sufit onto the end of it to come with anavim. Anavim. Chaser, which is a courtyard, on number 13, is feminine. So when it's feminine, we got to add an ot. Again, the chametz reduces again to a hatef patak, or compound shavah, whichever way you want to call it. Chaserot. Chaserot. Number 14 we have here is Derek. Of course, this caret here is telling you that this is a seglet noun, and it's masculine, so you add a hirik yod mem sufit to it. And so remember, seglet's a little different. They have a certain vowel pattern, so it is a shavah up under the first consonant, a chametz under the second, and then a hirik yod mem sufit, final mem at the end there. Okay? Alright, let's go here. Right here we have Torah. Torah. The comments hey is telling you that this is a feminine singular noun. And you want to make this into a feminine plural, the comments and the hey drop out, and the whole vav is attached to the stem, which is after the resh. And it becomes Toroth. Toroth. 16, Choma, wall, is feminine. The comments say is telling you it's feminine. Then you would add the whole vav tav to it to chomot. Chomot, for walls. Well, here's an interesting one we usually say all the time. Mishpacha is family. A lot of times I say shalom mishpachot, or families, here. So basically, there's no change here except for the dropping out of the comments here in the hay, and you add the ot to it to be mishpachot. Mishpachot. Number 18 is safer. Seglet noun. And again, remember that this is masculine, so you have to add a hierarchy code feet to the end right here. And the on seglet nouns again, the shava goes up under the first syllable, the comment's under the second syllable, uh, shava up under the first consonant, and the comment's under the second consonant. Then you have a hierarchy code feet. Number 19, we have Melek, another seglet noun, same thing. Hierarchy of feet for the masculine plural ending, and the Shiva and the comments. So Melachim, Melachim. Na'ar, same thing, seglet noun here. You add a masculine plural ending. Hierarchy of feet. You have the same thing happen. You have here you have the noon with a Shiva, a ayin with a chametz up under it, and then a resh, hirak, yod, mem, safit, tone, it's masculine plural. Ne'arim. In the singular, you see, in the singular, it is na'ar. The accent's on the first syllable. Once it goes to a plural, or when it changes its its gender, the accent goes to the final syllable as normal Hebrew. Zera is for seed. You add the hierarchy code feet, same thing. Shabab and the Zion, comments on the resh, hierarchy code feet. Zeraim. Zeraim. Here's one I told you had an O sound on a seglet noun. It's boker. Boker. It's for morning. We say boker tov, good morning. You add a hierarchy code feet, or final mem at the end here to this, and exact same thing. Bekarim, Bekarim. The shvab under the first syllable, a comment's under the second syllable, and then hierarchy yod mem safit. Cherev, which is a sword, you would add the holon vav tav to it, and again, it's a seglet now, so it's going to take a shavah, but since it is a chet, it's a guttural, it can't take a simple shavah. It can take a compound shavah, or what we call the hatefs, hatefs agaz. So anyhow, we're going to go ahead and do that, and so we have here under this is just basically the hatef here up under the chet, charavot, charavot. Number 24, we have eretz here, and it is feminine, so we put the whole involved tav over it, and so we have arasot. This is a seglet noun, so again the aleph tends to take olives are gutturals too, so they tend to take the hatefs also, the hatef pataks in there. So ayin, chet, and aleph. Pataks here, hatef pataks. Now we have nader, which is a vowel. We change this to nedarim, same thing, seglet noun. Shavah, chametz, hierarchy, yod, mem, safit. Alright, so we've gone through learning how to recognize feminine singular endings, how to recognize a feminine plural noun, how to recognize a masculine plural noun, and how to recognize seglet nouns in their different vocalizations too. So, just wanted this homework does well in getting you equipped for that. So, let's go ahead and go into pluralizing the following nouns that are irregular in their pluralization. Okay, these are irregular nouns. We have Isha, which is woman. And then we have to recognize that this is Nashim. We just have to memorize these. Isha is Nashim. Ish is Anashim. And then we have for father. Av is Avot. Has that feminine plural ending on a masculine noun. And then we have Bat for daughter. Banot. This is a radical stem because it changes. These are daughters. It comes from the root Beit Nun, which is where son comes from, and where daughter. So there's a different change there. You just have to memorize it. This is plural, of a feminine plural. Then we have bait for house. Batim for houses. We have ir for city, and arim. This, instead of having a here, it's got a comma. It's arim. Just have to memorize these, and you'll become familiar with these as often as you see these in the biblical text. You have Bain for son and Banim for sons. So you add the here code mem on as you normally would for masculine plural noun, but the Sarai changes to a comments Banim. Just like you have by note here for daughters, plural. It just and then the last one we have is Yad for hand. And a hand is feminine, and we add the whole vav tav is Yadot. Yadot. So we've come to this end here on that, and I think, yep, that's it for today here. Alright, well, that's the end of the lesson. Until next week, go ahead and study lesson number 5 and review the chapter, and we will see you in the next session.